So there's been a shift over the last couple of decades in getting much more involvement from the community in the design process to produce a much more successful project. And I think we now have a generation of engineers and planners who recognize that that is as crucial a part of the design process as the engineering and the number crunching. So to represent the Fox Park community and the Friends of India Point Park, I'd like to introduce Heather Florence, who will give us a perspective on their involvement in this project. Heather.
Thank you, Director Lewis. As you can see, I'm the one who's not a suit today. I came informal, and we all enjoy the informality of this park. It is a great honor for me to represent the Friends of India Point Park and to speak on behalf of our group and the entire broader community. We're absolutely thrilled that the park is now once again connected to our neighborhood and to our city. And we hope that it will encourage even more people to discover the park and to enjoy this unique stretch of the shoreline in our ocean state. Clearly, there's not enough time for me to thank everyone who has made major contributions, and some of them have been mentioned, but I do want to specifically acknowledge the unstinting efforts and contributions of the Sharp family. Mary Elizabeth Sharp, who had the idea for the park in the beginning and worked on it, and her daughter-in-law Peggy, who today continues to work with us, and their colleague Bob Schacht, who's here, who has been unstinting in his efforts for the park. And in the old days, we also had the achievements of Charles Millay Simon, who helped with access to the neighborhood. Today, we have the help of Daisy Schneppel and the Fox Point Neighborhood Association, and we have, yes. And we do have the wonderful support of elected officials, Mayor Cicilline, of course, but also our Senator Rhoda Perry, former Senator John Roney, who, among other things, urged David Riley to create the Friends of India Point Park only about 9 or 10 years ago. We've also had help from Paul Mora, and we continue to have constant help from David Siegel, the assemblyman in this area, and of course Seth Yurden, the city councilman. The RIDOT team, some of it keeps changing at the top. Director Lewis is the latest of several directors who've had to deal with the neighborhood. But one stalwart who's been part of this from the beginning, at least since my time, is Lombri Zerva. And I think he's been married, had children, they've grown up, they may be married by now, but you know, many thanks to Lombri because he's the one who's sort of on the front line for the community. And finally, I have to make a special moment to thank the incomparable Bob McMahon. Bob is currently our Director Commissioner of Parks, but even before he assumed that august job, he really was the shepherd, savior, guardian, angel for this park, and has worked unstintingly to do everything that the community has hoped he could do, and we know he'll continue to work with us with his terrific staff. And I want to warn Bob and Director Lewis that we plan to continue to be very involved in the landscaping that's to come. I'm delighted to hear that Mayor Cicilline now wants to be part of the landscape committee with us. But there are some things lurking in the future, Bob, you may not be aware of, and we're going to keep you busy. We have ideas for some recycling in this park, for maybe a fish cleaning tables, maybe from view scopes. We've talked to some people about that, maybe a visitor center. The life of this park has been wonderful for 30 years, but this is an opportunity for it to have a rebirth, to have its renaissance, and to continue to grow and to blossom. So I can't step away from the podium without acknowledging the park itself. With community boating on the west, and I see John Flaherty is here, who does a wonderful job for the whole city with community boating, and the Brown Boat Club to the east, a ceremonial dock in front of me with a wonderful tugboat at it. This park does take advantage of its location at the head of Narragansett Bay. During the weekends, you see office people picnicking here, UPS drivers lounging here, families playing soccer or playing while their members of their family are playing soccer, kids in the playground, people who really enjoy the artistic mural we have in the playground. And when winter comes, we'll actually have a wonderful sledding hill, which is something that RIDOT promised they would deliver, and indeed they have. So we thank you for that. I know Lombre heard about that a long time, and we'll look forward to winter in the park as well. Our park will also become the hub of biking in the region. When the Washington Bay bike path, the Washington Bridge bike path is finished, we'll be able to connect from the East Bay bike path into Down City and eventually up the Seekonk River. So the summary is this park really is the backyard for all of the city, and it is, as Mayor Cicilline has said, the jewel in the emerald necklace that adorns our city. So it has one other function. It serves as a muse for artists, and I want to remind you all that currently at City Hall there is an exhibit of art inspired by the park. It was put together by the Friends of India Point Park, one of our wonderful unacknowledged subcommittees, and certainly worth a visit to City Hall. And then this weekend we're going to have a true neighborhood celebration at Bridge Fest, and if you haven't seen these flyers around, I think somebody has them. They're on the refreshment table, so spread the word, come, enjoy, but not just this weekend. Make this park part of your life and enjoy it all of the time. And as we're approaching, election season, all I can think to say is come early and come often, and stay late. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And just if you thought that Heather was kidding about the Fox Point Neighborhood Association staying on top of us, you were able to actually have a spy infiltrate my office. My new assistant, Kim McNulty, happens to be a resident of Fox Point. So congratulations to the Neighborhood Association for pulling that one off. With that, I'd like to invite the mayor, Heather, Senator, and Seth, and anybody else that is, and the Cardis to come up and help do the. And absolutely, the kids come up. Anybody that has felt a role in this project, let's come up and join us with the ribbon cutting.
Podium.
This will be right here. Come on up. Yeah, come on up. Come right here. Cut your hair. Look out, we won't cut you right. So look out. There you go. Come on up. Where's the camera? There you go. Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.